As far as Mr. Gutierrez, does he have enough personal property to recover that is clear personal property that you can actually get those fines if they are rendered?
There is no personal property we identified or real property that was subject to forfeiture specifications that you can include in a case like this. A court has the ability to impose a sentence that includes what they call financial sanctions, which can include restitution. And typically in a case where there might be a loss to the state, we have requested and obtained restitution for whether it was time, personnel, use of property, those kind of things. So I think if that is in the picture at the end of the day, that's something the court retains the ability to seek and obtain.
So he'll make a first appearance then Monday, is that?
Yes, that's my understanding from talking to Mr. Mandalara, who has represented him throughout, that he will surrender him down here in Columbus on Monday. He was going to attempt to do it yesterday or tomorrow afternoon late, and his schedule was he works not only as a defense lawyer but as a magistrate in divorce court, and so he's a busy fella, and trying to work that into his schedule, he was able to come up with Monday, which was satisfactory with us.
Is there a certain time he has to surrender Monday?
I think he said he would be here Monday afternoon. If we don't hear from him by 4 o'clock, I'll probably call his cell phone.
Is he arraigned then based on when he surrenders?
Yeah, it'd be my hope that there would still be a duty judge around that could arraign him since he's from out of town, and we aren't objecting to his release on a bond that he probably can impose. We haven't talked a specific amount, but it's the kind of case where I don't think Mr. Gutierrez is going to be unavailable when we want him in court. I've always been able to reach him through his lawyer, and so I don't think there's a flight risk. So I also didn't think there was a need to have him confined before trial.
So it's not gonna be an own recognizance bond, but it will be likely be just something to be before.
We haven't really talked about it other than I conveyed that we didn't think he was a flight risk, and that we wouldn't oppose a bond that he thought he could post. I don't know what that number is, but I'll talk to Mr. Mandalara, who has been very cooperative through this process as well, not only before the case even got near us. I think at the IG's level and the Ethics Commission has been very cooperative.
Did you interview Marc Dann as part of this investigation?
I did not interview Marc Dann.
Did you try to?
I think most, if not all, of the interviews were done by either the IG's office or the Ethics Commission, and so it's something I wouldn't comment on what happened or didn't happen at that level. I defer to David in case he would care to observe. David does not have restrictions such that I may have, since he's not the prosecutor handling this case, so he may feel he's able to comment on some of the things you're asking that I'm deferring on.
There were attempts to talk to Mr. Dann.
Could you stand up by Ron?
There were attempts to talk to both Mr. Dann and his spouse, and he was willing to respond to written questions, but that's not the ordinary process the Commission engages in.
Ron, did Mr. Gutierrez do anything different than his condo mates did in Dublin? Did he do anything that they did not do?
I don't think I want to comment on other people that may be in your mind or in the public's mind or unnamed or even identified by past reports. I guess I just wouldn't want to comment on that, Patrick.
Were his actions egregious, though, in that sense, more so?
I just don't want to comment on that. You know, he's charged with having accepted both from the campaign fund and as a supplement to compensation the payments that were made to 2 locations for basically rent, and he's charged with that, and I think I would just stand on that.
Just curious, just because I haven't had a lot of experience covering it this way, since a lot of this flows both from the Ethics Commission and this joint task force, which was given the special legislative authority, does that affect how you prosecute this? Are there any legal arguments that could be made that perhaps some of the enforcement jurisdiction wasn't there?
None that I'm aware of. In fact, I was somewhat surprised to see that presented to the Elections Commission in a case there.
And for the record, I would just say in the investigation of the commission that's online, you'll see that that investigation actually started before the Inspector General received overriding authority, and there were subpoenas issued by the Ethics Commission, as that report identifies, prior to the Inspector General's authorization. And then we worked with the IG's office, and particularly with the Highway Patrol and the Bureau of Workers' Compensation investigator.
David, you said that there were attempts to talk to Marc Dann and Elisa Lenhoff, and they were only willing to respond to written questions, and is it a typical, so did you do the written question thing, or did you just...
We don't, the Ethics Commission doesn't engage in written questions because we don't have a first-hand assertion of the truthfulness or veracity of the question without an appearance and without somebody on record. You'll see in the investigative report, if you haven't read already, what the attempts were, and there were follow-up attempts to that with both Mr. Dann and his counsel, Don McTighe.